Alright, here's another momentum conservation problem. I've got a zebra trotting south at 6 meters per second, and then Scar, the evil lion from the Lion King, pounces at that zebra, and Scar is moving to the east to catch that zebra. So now, this question is going to be a little bit trickier than most of the ones we've done before because of the direction. We've got moving south and we've got moving east, and we've got to combine those two. So let's not panic just yet, but let's start the way that I usually like to start, which is by making just a quick sketch of the situation. I'm going to imagine a top view. So here's my zebra as viewed from the top. And that zebra is moving this way, 6 meters per second. I'll say south is this way, east is that way, north, west, not that those matter for this question. The zebra then is going 6 meters per second to the south with that 200 kilogram mass, and Scar, the evil lion from the Lion King, is going to pounce from over here, and so Scar is going to be moving this way, initially at 7 meters per second. Now, this is what happens before those two animals collide. Now they come together and BAM! And now those two are going to tumble off in some direction. Now, there's nothing to make them stop going south, and there's nothing to make them stop going east, and so whatever direction these two are going to end up moving is going to be some combination of going southeast. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that direction will be just yet, but, well, that's the point of what I'm trying to figure out here. So I'm comparing first here's before Scar and the zebra collide, and then I'll compare after. Now, I've just got, here's a big old blob of animal fur, both Scar and the zebra, and they're going to be going somehow southwest. We'll get to the exact details sometime later. And so now if these are moving together, I've got a 180 kilogram lion and a 200 kilogram zebra. So here I'm just going to have 300 kilograms of animal going that way. Now, if I'm going to put some numbers into this, well then, the idea here is exactly the same as it ever was. It's just that executing the math is going to be just a little bit more complicated. The idea here is that I add together the total momentum before equals the total momentum after. But the total momentum now is going to be, well, to the east, I've got 180 kilograms times 7 meters per second. Now, if you do that math, 180 kilograms times 7 meters per second gives me 1,260 kilogram meters per second to the east. Plus, I've still got this same south momentum, and so I've got a southward momentum of 200 kilograms times 6 meters per second, which is going to be, to the south, 200 times 6 is 1,200 kilogram meters per second. Now that total is going to equal the momentum of the pair of animals moving somewhat southeast. We'll figure out an exact direction pretty soon. And we've got 380 kilograms now, 200 plus 180. That much animal moving with whatever that velocity is. Now, if we think back to olden times, and let's not get too worried, it's not going to be as bad as it could be, because we're lucky enough that, well, Scar was moving east, and the zebra was moving south, and so those are at right angles to each other. Now, if I want to add those two together, then I add together 1260 plus 1200, and I should add units on here. Now the total of that then is going to be, that's a hypotenuse. This is a right angle since east and south are perpendicular to each other. So, and my right angle is right in there. So if I use the Pythagorean theorem, then 1260 squared plus 1200 squared, take the square root of that, and I get 1,740 kilogram meters per second. That's the total momentum of the lion and the zebra. And so 1,740 kilogram meters per second is equal to mass times velocity. Now, if I divide then 1740 kilogram meters per second by this 380 kilograms, divide that over, then I get a velocity of 4.6 meters per second. Now, I still need to know what direction, because I did ask about what's the velocity. So I know that how fast they're moving is 4.6 meters per second. I do still need to know a direction. Now, if they were here at the start and they're moving in that direction, then this angle here can help me do that. So what I'm going to do, I could use any trig function I like. I could do sine of this angle equals opposite side over hypotenuse. I could do cosine of this angle equals adjacent side over hypotenuse. Or I could do tangent of this angle equals opposite side over adjacent side. Now usually when I'm in this situation, I personally prefer to use tangent because I'm more likely to have not made a mistake getting these two numbers. If I did make a mistake in the problem, it's most likely here just because it took more steps to get there. So I'm more likely to not make a mistake using these two, but that's just my own personal preference. Really, you could use any trig function you like. But I'm going to use tangent because I'm the one solving it. So tangent of this angle equals opposite side over adjacent side. The units will divide out when we divide those. Now I do 1200 over 1260. Now that's equal to tan theta. So I'll have to do the inverse tangent function on my calculator, or the arctangent, depending on what your math teacher calls it. And when you do that, then you're going to find that that angle is somewhere around 43.6 degrees. Now that angle, that's measured from this blue line, points straight to the east. So that direction means that it's 43.6 degrees going from the east, turning towards south. So I'll say that that's 43.6 degrees towards south as being measured from the east. So here's my direction. Here's my speed. And now the question's answered. The question was, what velocity do they have? I've given both speed and I've given direction. And so there's my answer. Now if you think about what's different about this question versus ones I've done before, the concept behind it hasn't changed at all. I've still got total momentum beforehand equals total momentum afterwards. The only thing that's really changed here is there's a little bit of extra math steps because adding 1260 to the east plus 1200 to the south is going to involve some more complicated math than just adding two numbers together. But there you have it. Problem solved.